Well, it's getting closer. The Chiefs nearly have an opponent. We should find out by the end of this evening. Wanted to touch base with you. Welcome to the Chiefs Breakdown. I'm Ryan. This is RGR Football. Big shout out to everyone who hung out with us last night as we called the Jacksonville and the LA game live. We had a lot of fun. Definitely a different stream for us. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know if you did. Today, it's been a day of waiting, and I wanted to get on here before the night game. Because we'll be recording the Locked On Chiefs show later tonight when we know who the opponent is. But right now, we should take a step back and review. So far, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm 4 for 4 this weekend so far. And obviously, this was an upset that we just watched from the Giants. I didn't feel that there was an AFC wildcard that could really push to get to the point where they could be the opponent for Kansas City, but nothing's out of the ordinary yet. We just don't know. The matchup tonight, Bengals-Ravens, is going to be important. Another setup where they know each other really well, division rivals. I think that's going to be a lot. Ready Web, good point. About Danny Dimes, played a game. And this, if you listen to Locked On Chiefs on Friday, this was the upset that I called. It was nearly an upset for the Buffalo Bills, though. A couple of interceptions thrown by Josh in that game. And I kind of been waiting for something to happen, something to make me feel like either the Bills or the Bengals were going to step forward and be the team that's going to come after Kansas City. I think really both of them seem to be a little unsure about how they're getting things done. This was closer than I expected, I have to say. In the end, what you get is a team that has possibilities. They got pushed this weekend. Like I said, Josh with a couple of interceptions, a little bit unlike him. Josh Allen is a pretty steady guy. But here's the other key stat watching today that I really want to take away for the Chiefs. Sacked 7 times was Josh Allen, and that's going to be key. Now, we don't know what's going to happen this week. If a wild card were to win tonight, if the Ravens pull that off, it would be the Ravens coming to town. If not, it will be the Jaguars that we watched last night. But we got to keep an eye on the Bills and Bengals as well. And so that's something that I think is really key from the Bills game today. It's just knowing how much pressure got to Josh Allen. And that's going to be something that the Chiefs are going to have to dial up even more. We've seen their defensive pass rush come along in the last few weeks. Got to see more of it. If, in fact, that is the Buffalo Bills that will be the actual opponent. We'll find that out later tonight. And I will try to give a quick something here, maybe a short. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe because then you'll get the shorts in your notification feed. And the shorts are a real easy way to do quick breaking news. So I'll try to do that as well. But we will be on Locked On Chiefs tonight. Me, Chris, we'll see if Matt can make it or not. Thank you, Red. I appreciate that. Hope you had fun. We certainly did. It's nice when you get a big crew going and we can kind of rotate through who's doing the talking. I'd really like to know whether you guys want more play-by-play next time or if you want a more discussion that isn't Chiefs-centric. If we're watching, obviously the rest of the season we're going to be watching Chiefs games. So we'll see what happens after that. But just need some feedback when you guys get time. Last play of the Bills game was some BS. It was not a first down. See, and that's kind of my initial reaction as well. I didn't get to see it except for on my phone. So it was family day. We were out and about, and I was kind of keeping tabs on it that way. End of the day, a lot of mistakes in that ball game. Skylar Thompson threw 2 interceptions. Obviously, Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions. A little bit of a run game. I thought, honestly, that James Cook showed you a little bit of what he's worth. That's something to keep tucked away in your bill there, but obviously it was the passing game that came through. I wish Gabe Davis had done this a couple weeks ago, would have won me my fantasy league. But you get that 1-2 punch, and rookie Khalil Shakir really showed up as well. Like, I thought this was a nice game from him on, I think it was 5 targets. He had 3 catches for 51. He's a guy that I wanted in Kansas City, but that never seems to happen with me, especially with receivers. Who would you rather play, Jags or Ravens? Thanks, Maddie, for the question. Appreciate you. And that's a good one. I feel like, especially if Lamar is not going to be playing, I think after what we saw last night and the resiliency of the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they're a better team than the Ravens. So I think if the Ravens were to survive and we still expect Lamar not to be able to play, then yeah, that's a problem. If Lamar were to play, I think that changes things. So I think right now I'd probably rather play the Ravens without Lamar Jackson. That said, he could come back. It could be the Jags here tonight. I don't know. I have a hard time feeling with Huntley that they're going to be able to pull off the upset tonight against the Bengals, but you never quite know. It just takes getting into the ball game. Now we're live tonight. I know it's not a Chiefs breakdown tonight because normally we have a Chiefs game to go over. So welcome to everybody. If you are not a Chiefs fan or you're one of the other fan bases that joined us last night, welcome. We're talking about your teams tonight and how it comes around to who might face the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's what it is the focus of us here tonight because we do cover the Chiefs more. If you want to support the channel, hit the super chats, hit the store, do all that kind of stuff. Lewis is not too concerned about the Bills, and I think that's kind of the road that we're going down right now. Red kind of feels the same way. They're definitely not playing on all cylinders right now. I think what it shows you is that every team has ups and downs, and the Chiefs really do seem to pull the best game out of everyone. That seems to be the one constant. So I agree. I don't think Buffalo's playing that well. I do think that we'll see how the Bengals play tonight. I'm really interested to see who looks like they're more on their game. I have a feeling it might be the Bengals. We'll see what the Ravens can do to them. Chiefs skills with Buffalo struggling versus Miami. Is it a positive take for the Chiefs going forward? It is. The question is still going to come down to who do they play? As long as it's the Bengals, then one way or the other, Chiefs are going to get a diminished team, a beat-up team from having those two play each other before they play Kansas City. So we'll know more tonight, and definitely tomorrow night on the Q&A, we'll be live like always, and we'll go through that. Brett, do you think that Mike Kafka gets some head coach love this offseason, or does he need another year under Dable? He will get some interviews, is my thought. He has been sought for interviews in the past, and Andy denied it. So there's been interest before. I don't know how legit it is, but I do think he's going to definitely get some interest. And I think that's well-deserved, to tell you the truth. I feel like he should be getting interviews because he's done a heck of a job. And now it's proven that he can be in that kind of leadership role, not necessarily be the guy in multiple places. And that's kind of the key for folks in making that determination of, can he jump to the next level where he's running it all? We're going to find out. Let's see. Pono, I'd rather take on the Bills. Burrow doesn't throw interceptions. Yeah, I mean, that's the case. And honestly, if they're on, they're just a bigger matchup problem to me. And like I've told you guys in the past, some teams just have those. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen all threw about the same. I'm not sure what you're referring to in terms of are you thinking season interceptions? That could possibly be true. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I can probably look those up while we're on here if you guys like. And let me try to do that real quick because I am not sure who did what. But that's not hard to find. So I want official stats. That's usually the way that I roll on those kind of things. Skyler better than Josh Allen. Ryan, I think that's a stretch. Maybe it was today. Again, I only got to see bits and pieces of the game, and it was on my phone, so that never helps. But in general, I would say I disagree. I think Josh is one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Let me see season leaders for the quarterbacks. I want to see that. I don't need team statistics. Thank you. I need passing. 1 second, pulling that up for you. And I don't need postseason. I want regular season. So Patrick ended up with a total of 12 interceptions. I was close. I thought it was going to be 13. So I'm kind of elevating him there. Josh Allen ends with 14. Where's Burrow? Burrow ends with 12. You're right. They're all right in that vicinity. Nobody really standing out in a negative way there, which is really interesting because you think after the year that Russell Wilson would have thrown more, he was only 11. Daniel Jones at 14. Pretty comparable for most of the playoff quarterbacks here. I actually like the mix, to be honest. It's unique. Thank you. I appreciate that, King. Steven, here we are. Here we're going. I like that. You guys, if you're new, you're not used to this channel, would you throw some question marks at the beginning of your question? It helps me find them. Love the commentary aspect of the live stream, as I normally watch muted because I can't stand most of the broadcasters. So, hey, that's awesome, Ocean. I do that too. I'm notorious for being the guy that puts the TV on, then turns on the radio broadcast. That definitely, it's the syncing issue is still the same thing for me. So, let's see. I do like the play-by-play, but it's a little harder with multiple people, and the game isn't always synced. Yeah, exactly that. Thank you. I appreciate that, Kale. First time out trying to do something like that does help. Ryan Steen, hit the like button. Also, Skylar better than Josh. Okay. I think you like Skylar better than Josh. I could be wrong. Let's see. Why would the Titans interview EB for OC? Try to change it up. I mean, clearly it doesn't seem like offense is working there. I think it was a gross misrepresentation of just letting AJ go. I don't know if AJ wanted to return, and I think that's because of the offensive philosophy that's there. So maybe they would want to do that. I didn't see if they had. I think it was the Colts that have interviewed EB. I didn't see anything about the Titans. Maybe I missed that. I have been taking the day here. Josh had 2 ins and 2 fumbles. Okay, so I didn't even realize the fumbles. I mean, 4 turnovers, that's crazy. Just too much going on. Let's see. Dressed out, but starting. Okay, Huntley is dressed out, probably started. Yeah, that's what I understand too. That was just listening to pregame from about an hour ago, something like that. I guess, sorry, the game's going to be over my head. I haven't seen any announcement yet. Let me check the news real quick, and we'll try to check that out. I don't see an announcement from any of the people that would be doing that on Twitter. So I don't see anything official yet either. Clearly wouldn't be inactive anyway, so the inactive list isn't going to give us much information. It's obvious watching these games that the Chiefs pass rush shows up, they'll be a tough out. I agree with you. I think that's one of the big keys is, can you produce pressure? It's time to put away calling George Karlaftis a rookie, calling Trent McDuffie rookies. They got to step up now. This is beyond their rookie season, right? They made it through. Now what can you do next? That's going to be the thing. Ben, do you think EB will be back in KC next year? Ben, I tend to think not. Knowing that he has some interest in head coaching jobs already, knowing that the college game wants him back, I think his course has been run in Kansas City. And I think it's probably best for all to get a little new blood there in the offense on the Chiefs side. And I think it's good for EB to take a job elsewhere. So I think that's kind of what I expect. I just don't know what the offer is going to be or who the team's going to be and how it's all going to come out. So we're going to see here pretty quick. Where is our weak EST come next week? Our weakest come next week. Weakest opponent would be if one of the wildcards pulls this off. I don't know. That's arguable. I think the Jaguars really showed some resilience last night that you got to give some respect to. So we'll see what happens. I want to say the Ravens can put up a fight tonight, but I don't think in the end that they're going to. How you doing, Terry? Let's see. Adam, good day from Sydney. Cheers down under. Would you go to for a quarterback in the draft if you're the Raiders, or surround the QB this year and wait for 2024, the USC guy? Caleb Williams is going to be a top 5. You'd have to have another putrid year to get a chance at Caleb. I don't think they do that. I think I think there will be a quarterback in Las Vegas this year that is a former Patriot, one way or the other. I'm going to outline that on NFL 33 here, maybe next week, maybe the week after. There are a lot of scenarios. Obviously, Tom Brady is now a free agent, or he's going to be at league year. I think that's a pretty good connection to make, pretty easy connection to make. I don't know if it's really all there, and the money's the question. It isn't a franchise that has a ton of money to spend, but reuniting with Josh McDaniels, I think Tom Brady might go for that. Another guy that played for McDaniels is Garoppolo. Now with Purdy in the mix for San Francisco, a rookie winning a playoff game, plus you have Trey Lance that you put that pick in. I think keeping Jimmy this year was an acceptable expenditure to keep yourself safe, to stay in this role. But clearly, between the mileage and the injury situation, I think it's time to reap the benefits. And I think you could trade him to the Raiders. And for San Francisco, you're going to make some draft capital up that way. And it's another player that Josh has coached in the past, knows his system. I do think that is a plus. The last option is going to be controversial. I'm going to be out on a limb all by myself on that one. So I'll put that on NFL 33, and you guys can hear it there and tell me what you think. If you are a draftnik and you're starting to get into that, please consider joining NFL 33. We got a lot of good work coming. We're bringing on more analysts all the time, and we're going to have a bigger crew this year. Dan and I are well ahead of where we were last year. We each have a top 5 out already. Normally, that doesn't happen until mid to late February, and we're already here. Wildcard weekend, we both had a list out. I did tackles first. He did edge rushers first. You guys want to check those out. They are going to be behind I think Dan's first one is open, but they are going to be behind the paywall on the Substack. So if you would check that out, we'd very much welcome your opinion there as well. But that said, somebody's going to get Caleb Williams. And Adam, you have a good point. If it doesn't work out, that's who everybody's going to be gunning for. So I think there'll be a lot of maneuvering to get in position to take Caleb Williams. Do you agree that MVS has been undervalued given that he has not gotten open so many times, but Mahomes can't seem to connect? Sif, that's a good question. Undervalued? I don't think so. I would have a hard time calling him that, only because what's his cap number this year? I think he's making close to $4 million. That's hard to call undervalued given his contribution in total to the offense. Let me look that up real quick, just so I'm not talking out the side of my mouth here. Let's see. Oh no, I'm terribly wrong there. Evidently, according to Spot Track, if this will load, it looks like it was 2.5 in the base and another 2. So total, his cap hit was 4.8. Next year, it goes up to 8.5. And that's why we're always talking about this. It could be just a one-year thing with MVS. Because that would lead to a dead cap hit of 4, but you're saving 9 if you did release him after this season, if you don't feel it's working out. And I think that's really kind of the way it was designed. So rather than doing the incentive-laden thing like they did with Juju, I think they went that route. And I think both are good. House, I like where you're going, and I do like May, but let's be real. He's got to repeat his performance of this season as well. So we'll see what happens. But I think I have him in the top 3 of the quarterbacks right now as well. So I'm with you there. Ratty, I think that Miami would have won if Waddle and Hill both didn't drop 2 big-time throws. Yes, I agree with you. And I saw the Waddle one. I didn't see Tyreek's, but I did hear it. So. Excuse me. Do the Dolphins run it back with Tua? I think that they do. Let me see what his contract is right now. I don't believe do they have to designate a 5th year? They might have to. I cannot recall. Yeah, because he was a first-round pick. Oh, but it looks like they didn't. So never mind. I think that they do. I don't know that they have another good option, so let's see what happens. Oh, looks like Collinsworth is on TV. I'll probably walk through some of this ball game quickly as it goes, if you all are interested in that as well. I can't show it to you live, but I can give some live reaction as well. How long do you think Reed continues to coach for? I could see Andy Reid going to like 68, maybe 70 at the outside is my thought. So we've got a few good years still. Do you think the way that the Jags played us the first time, we probably come out with a little more fire? Yes, especially after watching what they did last night, right? I do believe that. I am 100% with you. Okay, so we are not to kick off yet. That is good. I like it. But it's coming close. Let's see. Other questions. Live broadcast has to happen again. It was great. Okay, thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. We'll definitely do that. Hopefully, it'll be some opponent games. There'll be some NFC games. I can't do it during a Chiefs game. We might be able to have it on if somebody else is willing to like kind of host the thing, but I need to be knee deep in observation. And I don't think I gave it away last night, but I rewind a lot. I watch plays multiple times a lot. So hard to do that on a stream for everyone. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm still tired from it. So if you started the NFL over again, what is your top 5 picks, current players, coaches in order 1 to 5? Thank you, Dustin. It's a hell of a question. If I started over again, players and coaches, let's start with the fact that Patrick is the best player in this league. You have to start with him. The quarterback commodity is just one that you can't get away from. I would shy away from the veterans, the aged quarterbacks. I'm not going Aaron Rodgers. I'll tell you that. Should Mike McDaniel be in there? I mean, Sean Payton's not in the league, so I can't count him. Andy is obviously one of the top coaches in this league. But in terms of innovation and doing something new and taking the game to the next level, I don't know. A first-year coach this year might be a guy that you have to include. I know there's a lot of hubbub around Sean McVay right now, but I do think that he is still able to innovate. I do think he is an incredible play designer. Maybe the calling gets away from him at times, but his play design, his offensive design, I think is still otherworldly, to tell you the truth. So I think I'd have to put him up there as well. How much RVT? I'm not sure about that. You have to ask me again, Joseph. I'm not following you. I don't have Dan here to translate when I can't understand texts or comments here. How much do you think that Bennett is going to be overdrafted? That's a great question. Stetson Bennett, I think, is a draftable commodity in the 6th round. Could he go in the 5th and I could be okay with it? Sure. Could he go in the 7th? Sure. Could he go UDFA? Yes. But I do think he is a draftable guy. You can't start making the claims that I've already started seeing from people that he's up there with Hendon Hooker when he's healthy, with Levis. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's one thing to lead a team and win. It's another thing to be the team and win, meaning that you are distributing the ball, that you are the reason for the win. And I don't see that with Stetson Bennett. What has to happen for the Ravens to win tonight? Couple of things. They're stout against the run, so I'm comfortable there. If they can find a way to slow down Chase and Higgins in particular, I think that probably keeps them in it. They play a physical game of ball, and I think that they do a good job with it. They have a tendency to get after Burrow, so they just have to do that too. So the only real change is, can you slow down the big guns in the passing game from hurting you? And I think that's going to take a bit of a scheme change, and I think it takes more deviation, more deception, more changes within the ball game. I think that could get it done. And on the other side, you have to have A+ Huntley tonight. And you have to have somebody else step up in the passing game. I don't believe, and I haven't seen the pregame, but I'm not sure Andrews is available. So you have to have somebody step up. Could it be likely? Could it be? I don't even know. But somebody's got to take the offensive reins and say, I'm going to be the guy that puts us over the top. Sif, I really wanted to say good job to KC this season, no matter how it ends, rebuild, and still number 1 seed. Very good point, Sif. The rebuilding year has gone very, very well in Kansas City. I think a lot of other franchises are going to be very, very jealous of that. Thanks, Nightbot, for throwing that up. That means FLDB's in the house, or maybe Aaron is too. I haven't seen comment, but thanks, guys. We're not going to go super long into the ball game, but we'll see how this starts. See where we can go reaction-wise. And it looks like we're getting close to the game call, knock on wood. That's still preview on the streaming service. It still looks like it is on the broadcast as well. So that's just repeating. That's funny, Kevin. Non-biased announcers. Yeah. It's kind of hilarious, isn't it? Not a fan thinks Allen's been overrated by the media. Okay. Yeah, right, Mark? we were pretty happy about it. Charger meltdown live as we're watching. That's always fun. Appreciate you. Nathan, sorry. I think Norman's next. Is this a last gas for the Bengals, or do they get Burrow, Chase, T. Higgins still cheap on rookie contracts next year? That is a very good point. Let's take a look at that because I don't know off the top of my head. I believe this is going to be Burrow's 5th year, so he's still fairly cheap. I'm sorry, I believe 2023 is going to be, so he's still going to be fairly cheap. Looks like that is the case. It's 11 mil on the cap here, according to Spot Track. So they do have like 48 in space, though, so they can get something done. Let's see. Boyd's another 10. Chase, I think, has 2 or 3 years. No, 2 years left, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, Chase's rookie contract runs through 2024. So you have 23 where he's cost control, 24, and then they have a 5th-year option on Chase as well because he was a top first-round pick. So they still have that. Let me check on Joe. I thought this was year 4. Yes, it is year 4. He'll have the 5th-year designation, so he will be cost control, but he will be noticeably higher cost next season. 2024 season he will still be, a grand total of 11 on the cap in 2023. They can move some of that around. I think it's 5.97 in signing cap, so they can recover that and knock some of that number down. But it's coming. It's definitely coming. They're going to have an opportunity. Now, why is this still doing this to me? 1 second. Let's see. Brett, thank you for the question. Do you think the Chargers clean house tomorrow morning, or are they going to run it back? I just can't get a feel for it. We had a long discussion last night on there too, right? About what we think is going to happen. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's just going to be something that we're going to have to track. I don't think that there's a viable option is the problem. Whereas some of the guys think that they don't have a choice not to move on from Staley. I'm really interested to see how that decision comes down and what it ends up being. So far, it doesn't look like they're moving the ball terribly well here. I'll have to put on Jesus in a second, but Joe's getting the ball out. Again, mixing on the edges is a good thing. I don't have any problem with that. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up this stats machine because I like watching the stats machine roll. And we'll keep at it if you guys want to keep going here for a bit while the game starts. Marcus Peters, old friend, starting. Got to enjoy that when you can. I don't know about – I will say this. If Staley goes, I think it is more of a cleaning house. If they don't, I still think they can make some changes. I think the offensive coordinator could be the sacrificial lamb, and then they keep Staley. That's an option. I just don't know. I don't know enough about how Telesco, in particular, or Spanos family feels about it, because that's why they're in this situation, because they don't generally make a lot of sense in their decision making, and that's a problem. Okay, so far we have the Bengals moving stuff, and I'm going to see if I can get the stream to run. I hope that I can. That's what I'm hoping, because it doesn't look like it's going to let me watch it live on NFL Plus, as it should. Now, that's a problem since I am a subscriber. Who is your top current announcer for NFL games? It's Romo. I think he does the best color analysis in the game, but I will tell you, I like Greg Olsen a lot, and Greg Olsen is growing on me quite a bit. So I do not care for the Monday night crew. I do not care for the Sunday night crew. I will take Romo every time. Do we draft a tight end this year? Possibly, but not till day 3. And I just don't know if they have to, or if they're going to go the cheap UDFA route again. They may do that. They love to find, especially ex-basketball players, that they think they can train up. So there could be that. Do you think Justin Jefferson is going to want to stay in Minnesota? I kind of feel like he does, but I also kind of think his representatives are going to push him because of the quarterback situation. I'm not sure that they're going to allow that to happen. Now, let's see. It's now 2 first downs for Cincy. They are moving the ball well. And I cannot get this to play because I'm not on the right device. I'm going to have to change that over there. But I think we'll watch here for another minute. We'll go from there. Bills have to pay the cap Piper next season. They're already 10 mil over it. Yeah, I mean, that's where it comes. And that's another thing that's so unique about the Chiefs' recovery is that they've gotten through this with Patrick being, $500 million quarterback, and they've still been able to reload. So it's an impressive feat all the way around. Do you trade and pay Higgins? Also, do you think the Bengals would even consider trading to the Chiefs? No, Patrick, I don't think they would ever trade to the Chiefs right now, especially not an impact player like that. But Higgins, I have to check his contract too. I don't know that I like the way that it's going after what? Is it 2024 where it's going to jump up? Trying to find that now. Wait for me 1 second. Is he on a 1 year? I never can tell the moving. 2023 will be his last. He will be a free agent after that. And he'll be looking to get paid. And I think that he will. Now, if the cap has gone up by then, maybe by 2024, that's an option. We do expect that the streaming money is going to change the cap rather dramatically. We're expecting somewhere between $30 and $50 million bump in 2024. But I don't know that we can promise that. What would be the best ref crew to get next week? Not Shuffers. That's about all I know. I don't track the ref crews very much. I do agree that Shuffers has a problem, and I do think there is some kind of bias there against the Chiefs, so I would like to see him not be that crew. Do you think the Chargers move on from Allen? I mean, just straight up, I still feel like that's more of a detriment than they're willing to do because his contract, I believe, is 3 more years where they have to pay him. And if you're talking about bringing in Peyton in particular, you're talking about having to pay him 15 plus 2. They're just not a franchise that I think can hand out all that money, to tell you the truth. CJ, I always wanted Vrabel as Andy's successor in KC, but now I think an offensive mind like McDaniels, Peterson, Shanahan would be the best fit. Do you prefer offensive or defensive-minded coach? I can live with both, but it just depends. If you can envision this, if Andy were to retire and they don't promote from within, and it's not EB and it's not Nagy, I am reluctant to make Matt Nagy another head coach, but I do think he can be an excellent coordinator. So in that case, you could go get a defensive-minded head coach and let Nagy run the offense with Patrick, who, as Patrick grows older, is going to become more like Peyton Manning, where it's Peyton running the offense. The years that we saw in Denver, it was Peyton making the calls, making all the adjustments. I do think that's the direction that Patrick's going to go in as well. So you could get away with a defensive-minded head coach in that situation, I believe. It just has to be a fit with Patrick, with Nagy, et cetera, et cetera. I do feel that that's a way that you could go. And I'm not going to argue with you there. If Andy did retire, I could see Sean Payton very easily. Sean wants to have a quarterback that he knows he can go in with, and I think that's good for him, and it's good for whatever team they land with. So that's going to help. It looks like it's 3rd and 10 now as they get up to the line, and I'm interested to see how this works. I try not to root against certain teams. That's just the way that it comes out. But in the end, I have biases too. I have teams I want to win. They've got 4 first downs now. They've moved the ball for 54 total yards. And it looks like this 3rd down play, as we'll turn it and watch it together, you got 2 split out right, second tight end in there. I'd look at Chase singled up and look at him all day long, but Burrow's not going that direction and badly overthrows the ball. And that's a 4th down. They're going to have to kick that field goal and take those points. I feel like this is kind of the way this game is going to go. We'll see if that's the way that it does. But a street brawl tonight is a good thing for the Chiefs. So I'll let you guys all go watch it. I'm going to grab some dinner and do the same. We'll be on Locked On Chiefs later tonight. We should be live, so you guys can jump in on that when we know sometime at least after halftime of this game, we'll be over there. And then I'll try to drop you guys a comment on who this is that the Chiefs will face when we do know that tonight. So there'll be a late little 1-minute come up tonight. So you guys have a good time. Thanks for being here tonight. Q&A like standard time tomorrow. We'll do the whole 9 yards and go through the scenario. So have a great one, and I'll talk to you then.